of you have heard of the movie Pretty Woman? What is Pretty Woman about? Pretty Woman is on the surface a Cinderella story about an investment banker who pays for the services of a sex worker to keep him company while he's away on a business trip. After a week of spending time together, which includes shopping sprees, a night out at the opera, being sexually harassed by the investment banker's lawyer, and almost breaking up, they end up falling in love, and we are led to believe living happily ever after. What if I told you that there is more to the story of Pretty Woman than what we think? A side of Pretty Woman that is often missed is its story of financialization in the late 1980s. This is a story of financialization told through the lens of Pretty Woman. What is financialization, you may ask? In the following clip, where Vivian and Edward are having breakfast, we learn about some of the key features of financialization. Vivian's character acts as our consciousness as she asks Edward about what financialization is. These are some of the things that we find out.
I was working last night.
You don't sleep, you don't do drugs, you don't drink, you hardly eat. What do you do, Edward? Because I know you're not a lawyer.
That's right. There are 4 other chairs here.
Oh. So what do you do?
I buy companies.
What kind of companies?
I buy companies that are in financial difficulty.
If they have problems, you must get them for a bargain, huh?
Well, the company I'm buying this week, I'm getting for the bargain price of about $1 billion.
$1 billion?
Yes.
Wow. You must be really smart, huh? I only got through 11th grade. How far did you go in school?
I went all the way.
Your folks must be really proud, huh? So you don't actually have $1 billion, huh?
No, I get some of it from banks, investors. It's not an easy thing to do.
And you don't make anything?
No.
And you don't build anything?
No.
So what do you do with the companies once you buy them?
I sell them.
Here, let me do that. You sell them.
Well, I don't sell the whole company. I break it up into pieces, and then I sell that off. It's worth more than the whole.
So it's sort of like stealing cars and selling them for the parts, right?
Yeah, sort of, but legal.
1. It involves financial actors, markets, and institutions. Edward, an investment banker, uses his skills to borrow money to the value of $1 billion from lenders that include commercial banks, pension funds, and insurance companies. This act of borrowing is known as raising or mobilizing finance. 2. It involves financial engineering, or the use of maths to develop a financial product that can be bought or sold for profits. Although not discussed in this clip, an investor such as Edward could raise the finance he needs by selling junk bonds to lenders in exchange for the loan to the value of $1 billion. A junk bond is an IOU, which promises to make a lot more money for the lender than what they lend. But it is a very risky bond because there is a high chance that the borrower, in this case Edward, may default or not pay back what he owes the lender. 3. Financialization involves financial motives. In this example, the goal for mobilizing this finance is not to invest in the long-term activities of the firm. Example, buying machinery and equipment in order to gain profits by building or making more goods and services better. The goal for mobilizing this finance is to make quick profits by betting on the value of a thing. In this case, the value of the company, once it's been bought, broken into smaller pieces, and each one has been sold off in order to extract its value in a lot of cash. 5. Vivian makes two important observations about what Edward does. You don't make anything. You don't build anything. And what you do, it's like stealing cars and selling them for the parts, right? To which Edward responds, it's all legal. People like Edward, that is, investment bankers, started to grow in numbers when the illegal things that they were doing to make money started to become legal. They took advantage of loose restrictions on the way that money markets, pension funds, insurance funds, and commercial banks can invest money. Pension funds and commercial banks could now start investing in risky IOUs like junk bonds, which opened up people like Edward to a lot of loan money that they could play with to steal cars and sell them for the parts. 5. Therefore, these financial motives, actors, institutions, financial markets have an impact on how well economies do. The impact of financialization on economies is best captured in the next clip. Here we see Edward, Vivian, Mr. Lewis, and his grandson David at dinner at the Voltaire. In the exchange between Mr. Lewis and Edward, we see a tension in their view of the role of a firm in the economy.
Mr. Lewis, my grandfather believes the men who create a company should control its destiny.
Where's the salad?
The salad comes at the end of the meal.
That's the fork I knew.
Let me put it another way. Between your public statements and the rumors flying around on this thing, we find it very hard to figure out what your real intentions are.
I don't know about you, but I've never been able to figure which goes with what.
You know, there was a time when we built ships the size of cities. Men like my grandfather made this country.
Who ordered this?
The gentleman did, ma'am. Bon appetit.
These are escargot. It's French for snails. It's a delicacy. Try it. David?
Mr. Lewis, if you were to get control, and I don't think you will, but if you did, what do you plan to do with the company?
Break it up and sell off the pieces?
I'm sure you understand I'm not thrilled at the idea of your turning 40 years of my work into your garage sale.
At the price I'm paying for this stock, Mr. Morse, you are going to be a very rich man.
I'm rich enough. I just want to head my shipyard.
Financialization, seen through Edward's eyes, has redefined economic activity and the firm. A firm is no longer seen through Mr. Lewis' eyes as an institution made up of people, resources, and processes that combine to make things that are then bought in exchange for more money. Through Edward's eyes, a firm is just a stock or a share that can be traded or exchanged for more money. Therefore, financialization worsens the big separation that is already present between the workers of the firm and the things that they are contracted to produce, because the purpose of the firm, as seen through Edward's eyes, is just to maximize as much value or profit for the shareholders. While financialization can be good for shareholders and investment bankers like Edward because they earn lots of money, financialization is not good for workers, the unemployed, and the economy at large, because the economy is turned into one big garage sale. Workers lose their jobs, firms are bought and sold just for a quick buck, and there is little long-term investment in companies that will employ people and grow the economy. This results in low economic growth and high unemployment. In South Africa, we also started to relax our laws and policies that govern financial markets. We made it easier for money to move around so that people like Edward could shift their money from South Africa to America and back to South Africa again in a week. We thought by relaxing our laws governing these markets, we would be able to attract people who are more like Mr. Lewis, that invest over the long term, building companies that will grow and employ people. Instead, we got people like Edward, who were just interested in hit-and-run investments, investing in the South African economy in the short term and then pulling out. We got many people like Edward because they were attracted to our high interest rates thanks to policies like inflation targeting, which they could use to make lots of money. How they did that is a story for another day. However, people like Mr. Lewis, in an environment of high interest rates, could not survive because their borrowing costs were so high, and banks stopped investing in them and began to invest like Edward. Therefore, companies owned by the likes of Mr. Lewis started to shut down, or they began to act like Edward in order to make quick bucks. For instance, they could use financial engineering to dodge paying taxes by moving money into tax havens like Panama. This is what Steenhoff did. Or they can use financial engineering to dodge paying workers their wages. This was also made worse because they had to compete with products coming in from other countries. The winners of this financialization are the investors, the speculators, the top 1% or 10% of economies around the world. The losers are businesses that are built to last, businesses that have a long-term horizon and not quick money and speculation. The losers are workers, the unemployed, society at large. That's the story of financialization told through the eyes of pretty women. Oxfam South Africa's report calls on the South African government to do the right thing for an inclusive economy, free from financialization. This means 1. A macroeconomic policy targeting full employment and not inflation targeting. 2. Controls are put in place to limit harmful hit-and-run investments. 3. A financial sector geared towards long-term productive investments. This should be done through regulation, such as the separation between commercial and investment banking. 4. State-led development of a large green industrial development bank that finances productive activities at different scales.